Right, so this might seem a bit silly, but I think it needs to be said. There's a place near my work where, 6 in the morning, they'll have like fresh muffins sitting on their counter thing and ready to be sold. And that's great. I approve of muffins. I think muffins are a wonderful idea, except for that one ad campaign that there was in town where they had this weird idea that you should only eat half your muffin. That kind of bothered me because I'm Eastern European, and the idea of not eating food is kind of culturally bad. But anyway, that aside, so here's the problem with the fact that they have muffins for sale. They have no clear indication of what type of muffin they are, and they have no clear indication of the price of their muffins. This means we go from simply, take my money, I want your muffin, to let's have a conversation about muffins at 6 in the freaking morning. Personally, I think that's unreasonable. I think that's far too much to ask, even the average person. It's 6 in the morning. Who wants to have a conversation about anything at 6 in the morning? I say no one. Well, maybe crazy extroverts who get up early and are morning people, but you know what? That's not everybody. And it's certainly not me. So yeah, that's a problem for me. And I think part of the reason it's a problem is because there was a computer store not far from where I lived that had all kinds of really snazzy looking computer equipment, but they never had any prices, which meant you had to go have a conversation with the people who worked there just to find out if something was too expensive for you to buy. You could literally waste your time and effort and energy having a conversation with somebody about the price of their computers, only to find out, oh, it's above my price range, as opposed to going in, going, oh, it's above my price range, and walking out. Not wasting a salesman's time, not wasting your time, not basically making the world a more negative place. And another thing is the place I used to work, those good old bastards from across the street. They had a policy, and the general manager specifically said that there was no sign pointing out where the women's washroom was, because apparently, according to him, he wanted to encourage employee, and I don't want to say it, so I'm going to call them guests. Ugh, I hate that word. I hate saying that word. They're customers, they're maybe clientele, but they're not guests, because when a guest comes into your home, they don't pay money to eat there. You give them food because they're your guest. But no, apparently our customers were guests, and that was another reason I hated that job. But no, he wanted to encourage employee-customer interaction. And that drove me nuts, because it made my day bloody awful, like 90% of the time. I would have hordes of people, mainly women, going into like the darkest bowels of the building we worked in, trying to find a washroom that was not there. I mean, there was a public one if they kept going down several hallways and through a maze of corridors into the public area after, entering a non-public area looking for a washroom that did not exist. And this all could have been alleviated by just having a sign. But no, they had to continually come down my corridor and bother me about washrooms. The funny thing is sometimes they wouldn't even ask. They would just stand there in front of my doorway and stare and look confused and sad, but they wouldn't say anything, so I just keep working. Because, frankly, if you're just going to stand there looking confused, sad, and entitled, I'm going to ignore you. Use your words, children. You're at least 30 years old. If you can't ask where the washroom is after being a moron and not asking your server where the washroom is, it's no longer my problem. And so yes, I no longer work there. My life is way better, but yet I still have to deal with priceless muffins.